Osama bin Laden's Al-Qaeda timeline: 1979–1984, Soviet troops invade Afghanistan. Bin Laden relocates to Afghanistan to help the effort of the Mujahideen. Along with Abdullah Azam, a Palestinian scholar and leader of the Palestinian Muslim Brotherhood, bin Laden organizes MAK, a recruiting office to help the Afghan resistance movement. The MAK opens recruiting offices throughout the world, including the United States and Europe. Bin Laden finances the transportation of the new recruits to Afghanistan, where they are trained in camps built on land donated by the Afghan government. Bin Laden also uses his personal fortune to employ experts in warfare, sabotage, and covert operations to train the recruits. This was 1979 to 1984. Now it's 2013. 1981, President Anwar al-Sadat of Egypt is assassinated by radical Muslims seeking to overthrow the government and replace it with an Islamic state based on Sharia or Islamic law. 1986, Al-Masada, a training camp for Arab fighters recruited in the Gulf states, is founded by bin Laden. Kind note: an Islamic state based on Sharia, Islamic law. Now, everybody on the whole world who's listening to what I'm saying, you may think that Sharia, Islamic law, we don't understand, it's so difficult. If you can all refer yourselves to the Holy Scriptures and the Quran, no other text, just the Quran. The forms of punishment are described in the Quran. There's nothing else you need to know. Obviously, everything else is not the word of Allah, is it? So, regarding Islamic law. So, what are the major sins? There's murder, there's fornication, there's fabrication, and there's adultery. And mischief is combined in this. Mischief causes grief, or mischief is grief. Causing somebody grief is mischievous. You may think that Sharia or Islamic law is so difficult to understand. It's not difficult to understand. Murder for murder is even described in the Ten Commandments. Murder for murder. The Quran states, the thief chop his or her hands off and feet, toes. The adulterer, or the people who fornicate, whip them. Who fornicate, stone them. Fabricate the law, stone. It's just there in the Quran. If you read it, there it is. That's all you need to know regarding punishment in Islam, as a Muslim, what the punishment is. It's not very difficult. The law is not very difficult. It's very, 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 very simple to understand. 1986, Al-Masada, training camp for Arab fighters recruited in the Gulf states, is founded by bin Laden. In kind note, wherever you are in the world, if you're Muslim, if you're a Muslim person, wherever you are on the world, if someone steals from you twice, as a Muslim, it's your duty to follow the Islamic law. 1986, Al-Masada, a training camp for Arab fighters recruited in the Gulf states, is founded by bin Laden. Also, Mustafa Shalabi, an Egyptian immigrant, creates the Al-Kifa refugee center in Brooklyn, New York, at the Al Farouk Mosque. It later relocates to 566 Atlantic Avenue, where the center serves as a MAK office used to raise money and recruit fighters to help the Afghan Mujahideen. 1988, bin Laden, Muhammad Atif, and Abu Ubaidah al-Banshiri co-found Al-Qaeda to continue the jihad globally. Al-Qaeda is headquartered in Afghanistan and Peshawar, Pakistan. Al-Qaeda is instrumental, along with Egyptian groups of Al-Ghama al-Islamiyah and Al-Jihad and National Islamic Front in Sudan, in the creation of the International Islamic Front for Jihad against the Jews and Crusaders. The object of this new organization is to organize Islamic militants throughout the world in order to eradicate non-Islamic governments and replace them with governments based on Sharia. Governments based on Sharia. Sharia is contained in the Quran, yes. Sharia is in the kind note from myself. Sharia is in the Quran, yes. The law comes from Quran, okay? So whatever anybody wants to do, right, is in the Quran. Whatever organization they are forming, whatever entity they are creating, whatever words they are wishing to pass, is in the Quran. Sharia is in the Quran. Okay, the thief chop his hands off. Then why are they stealing? Why are they doing robberies? Why are other people who are Muslims thieves? If they want to base a government based on Sharia. And as I said, you don't need to base a government on Sharia. Say if you're Muslim and you go to America and someone steals from you, it is your duty as a Muslim to follow the Quran. The Quran states the thief chop his or her hands off. It doesn't mean that you can steal from a Muslim and get away with it. They're not going to chop my hands off. If you're Muslim, you believe the Quran. You believe what Allah, your creator, sets forth. If someone steals from you twice and doesn't recompense you, you have the right. You have the right to chop their hands off, no matter which area of the world you are in. If you're in America, and someone steals from you twice and they don't recompense, they don't give you your double share of what they've stolen, because in the Torah it is written, if someone steals from you, you give them double what you've stolen. So if someone steals from you on America and you don't chop their hands off, that means you believe that the law that God, Allah, gave you is weak on America. You don't have to make a government on America to pass the law. You got to use the Quran. Allah has given you the Quran. No matter where you travel on the world, you have got the Quran. You've got the New Testament. You've got the Torah. Wherever you travel on the world, you have it in your hand. You have it in your heart. You have it in your mind. 1989. When the Soviet Union withdraws from Afghanistan, Bin Laden returns to Saudi Arabia to work in his family's Jeddah-based construction company and to oppose the existing regime and the United States intervention in the Middle East. Egypt's Sheikh Omar Abdul Rahman becomes a spiritual leader of the Arab Afghans, a group of estimated 10,000 Afghan veterans. The Saudi Arabian government holds Bin Laden's passport to prevent him from solidifying contacts with Islamic extremists whom he had met during the Afghan war. Kind note, for example, if your mother says to you, go to sleep at 9 o'clock every day. So if you go on America from England, are you going to go to sleep at 10 o'clock? You're going to go to sleep there at 9 o'clock as well, aren't you? Because your mother says, go to sleep at 9 o'clock. So you leave for England and you go to live on Ireland and you go to sleep at midnight. You've got to follow what your mother says. Your mother says to you, you have to sleep at 9 o'clock every day. If you leave a home, you leave a bosom, you leave an area, you go live 100,000 miles away, it doesn't mean you're going to go to sleep at 10 o'clock. Same with the law, same with the Quran, same with the Creator who created you and your mother. 1990-1991, Sheikh Omar Abdul Rahman escapes house arrest in Egypt after fleeing to Sudan. He obtains a visa from the United States Embassy sponsored by Mustafa Shalabi, founder of the Al-Khifa Refugee Center in Brooklyn. After a trip to Peshawar, Pakistan, Sheikh Rahman arrives in New York. Rabi Mir Kahani, leader of the militant Jewish Defense League, is assassinated in New York City by Al-Said al-Nasser, an Egyptian, one of Sheikh Omar Abdul Rahman's followers. Wadi al-Hajj is called by Mustafa Shalabi to come into New York to help resolve a conflict between Shalabi and Sheikh Abdul Rahman. Shortly after al-Hajj's trip to New York, Shalabi is found murdered in his Brooklyn apartment. Iraq invades Kuwait, and the United States forms an international coalition and sends troops to Saudi Arabia. Distraught over the American presence near the holy cities of Mecca and Medina, Bin Laden decides to move his base elsewhere.